Hello, everyone. Welcome to Casey's Corner. I am your host, Casey Kendall. Thank you for joining us today. We're joined by Amy Gibson from Dreammaker Commercial Advisors. I'm really excited for you to be here. Amy and I have been friends for a number of years, and I am anticipating a very entertaining and exciting conversation.
I hope so. Thanks for having me, Casey.
Yeah, and we're going to learn a lot about commercial property and what that means. First, I'm going to plug my book, Commercial Insurance Simplified, a real world approach for small business. You can find that on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. Or better yet, if you want a free copy, let me know and I'll get it out to you at no charge.
Beautiful. My address is...
You can have this one, Amy.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it, Casey.
So, Amy, we've been friends for a number of years, and you've been a great resource for me, not only for my clients to help them either with leases or the purchasing of commercial property, but the overall, your knowledge is invaluable.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And I really consider not only a friend, but a great resource in my business.
Oh, thank you, Casey.
So let's jump right in.
All right, let's do it.
Tell us about yourself. Tell us about Dreammaker Commercial Advisors and what you're doing.
Great. Well, Dreammaker Commercial Advisors truly was a dream come true. I opened the brokerage just shy of a year ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It has been exciting. It has been a little stressful. If you are a business owner, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
But I'm sleeping well at night and getting up in the morning excited. So that's been a good move. I've been in commercial real estate since 2013. And in 2020, I went back when there was the lull and got my broker's license and put a goal of opening my own brokerage in 5 years. Lo and behold, 2025, changes happened in the brokerage I was at, and it was the perfect timing to open the brokerage. So Dreammaker Commercial Advisors is here to stay for a while, creating business owners' dreams come true.
That's amazing. You putting that out into the universe. When you speak that truth to power and say, hey, in 5 years, I'm going to open this, and then that becomes true, I think that that's not only a testament to your goal setting, but how you approached that goal.
I wholeheartedly agree. If you don't put what you want out there in the universe, it's not quite real.
Yeah.
And you have this chance to take it back, which you may or may not want to do. But once you put it out there, it's out there.
Now, we're friends, so I know a lot about you. You grew up in the Lutheran school system. You were a Lutheran teacher. My mom was a Lutheran teacher.
Yes.
I grew up in the Lutheran school system, which is basically like Catholic Junior.
Yeah. Catholic light.
Catholic light. Yes, absolutely. So I appreciate your background and off camera, we can definitely tell those types of stories.
Definitely over cigars and maybe a drink or two.
Absolutely. Just tell us about the type of properties that you're representing, how you're working with your clients, those types of things.
Yeah. So Dreammaker Commercial Advisors is a full service commercial brokerage. So what that means is we work with both buyers and sellers, landlords and tenants in all the disciplines of commercial real estate. So that means office, retail, industrial, multifamily, commercial land, and specialty. What I consider my job to do is really stop you from signing a really bad contract.
Sure.
That's my job, right? Of course, there's a lot of other things that go into that with the knowledge and negotiations. But, in order to make a business owner's dream come true of either owning or leasing commercial real estate, I have to make sure that they're protected from those pitfalls.
Can you give us an example of like what a pitfall might be?
Sure. So if you're a brand new business, you usually don't know what CAM charges are. CAM stands for Common Area Maintenance. Those are extra operating expenses that possibly you might have to pay outside the base rent. So
almost like an HOA fee?
kind of like an HOA fee. In commercial, we call it a POA, Property Owners Association, instead of a homeowners association. Same though. But in residential, you might have that as a homeowners association, but that usually doesn't cover your water, sewer, and trash. That's outside of that, right? It covers your landscaping maybe. In commercial, it covers that usually. But things that when you're leasing, you're not paying that HOA fee. That's only as an owner.
Sure.
But in commercial real estate leasing, you will pay the owner back for that. That's an extra operating expense that the landlord may have you pay, depending on what kind of lease you're in.
There's a term out there, and I've seen it on different things like triple net. What the heck is triple net?
Triple net. So part of the triple nets is that CAM that we were talking about. But the triple nets are real estate taxes, property insurance, and CAMs, common area maintenance. Those are all things that the landlord's expenses on the property are that they pass through to the tenant.
Wow.
So you might budget your rent for $1,200 a month for a small, individual office. But if it's a triple net lease, you might have to be paying $300 to $500 additionally a month. And if you weren't expecting that, that could kill your business.
And that's on top of like utilities.
Absolutely.
Like keeping the lights on, water,
cleaning the
internet,
space,
all of that.
cleaning
kind of
products, all that kind of stuff. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So what's the key difference? I know on the insurance side,
Okay.
you've got personal lines, the home and auto and
Sure.
life insurance. And then on the commercial side, which is where I play, obviously that's covering business. And I've got my own gripes with personal agents and those types of things versus a dedicated commercial agent, which you are on the property side. What's the
Correct.
difference between commercial and residential? And can a residential agent do commercial?
Well, can a cardiac doctor actually perform a knee operation?
Maybe.
They're licensed to. Do you want them to? No, probably not. A residential license and a commercial license is the same in Arizona. So can a residential agent do a commercial deal? Yes. Should they do a commercial deal? No. They don't have the education towards it. But ultimately, what is the difference between residential and commercial? Emotions. Residential, oh my God, I love this kitchen. It even has a spout on the stove so my pasta pot will never go dry, which they will never use once they buy the house. But they're excited about it. Commercial, we're all about the return on investment. And is the location the best place for their business, not to only survive, but to thrive? And it's about the numbers, not about the emotion.
Interesting. I always see those pasta things, and I desperately want one.
And you'll use it one time.
Yeah.
And then you won't.
Fair enough. Let's talk about, we're in Arizona. We're in Gilbert. We're in the 1010 studios here in Gilbert, Arizona. What are you seeing right now in the Arizona commercial market?
Yeah, Arizona market. We're still strong. We're still a strong market, but we're now with careful decisions. We are not in a easy come, easy go market at this point. People are, holding on to their money and valuing their money at this point as when they make a decision, does it truly make money for them now, but will it make money for them 5 years from now? So they're thinking ahead. We're having to dot our I's, cross our T's, make sure everything is in line with what that investor or that business owner truly needs. It's not it's time to make money because the market's going on an incline. Let's just do it now. And if I need to sell it in a couple of years, I will. We'll make money and move on. It's not like that right now. We're in a strong but protected market. I have a feeling you're going to ask me the next question before I delve into that answer. So I'm going to let you go here.
I was going to ask which industries are growing fastest.
I suspected that was what you were going to ask. I call it my ESPN is on. Yeah, so industrial is definitely still kicking butt here in the Valley. Retail, surprisingly, is resilient and is staying strong. Multifamily still hanging in there, doing well. Office, well, it depends on what your needs are and where you're at. But growth here in the Valley, we've got West Valley and East Valley still growing strong, blowing up. You know, West Valley, if you blink, you'll see a new building just pop up right away.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's mostly right now the industrial as the winner at the top of the mountain, king of the mountain right now.
I recall probably like a year, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, office space. And I think in a post-COVID world, office spaces has become, I don't even know how it's become. Are people still working from home? What's that look like to them? And then is it better to keep your people at home, or should we have the office space and bring them in?
Yeah. Well, I can't speak for that specific question. That's based on everybody's business models and how it works. However, what I am noticing is people are not paying for wasted space anymore. So they decide on an office space that fits their needs. They're not going to pay for an extra long hallway that they could maybe turn into an additional office use. And depending on what part of the Valley will depend on the market of office. North Scottsdale, North Phoenix, there's still quite a bit of vacancy rate in office. Gilbert, our vacancy rate is much lower. And it's all because Gilbert has mostly small office spaces. Small businesses are not going to keep their people home. They're going to have them work in the office. Big corporations, big businesses, that's where the home office and people working as a hybrid, things like that, are happening more so.
What trends should people be paying attention to in the current market conditions?
Yeah, so as we know, even residential and commercial interest rates, you know, have been high. So people are placing their money in safe and strong areas. So if their business model they know is to grow, then they'll invest the money in a little bit bigger space. But if they're uncertain and they're not sure at the rapid pace or the slowness of their growth, they're going to be more conservative.
What should a business owner be considering before jumping into a lease?
So read the lease. So what happens is I find business owners don't realize, A, they need representation for leasing commercial real estate. I mean, if you think about on the residential side, how often is someone represented when they lease a house or an apartment or something? They're not, right? They do it on their own. So businesses, especially small businesses, think that that's not an option, that they're just going to lease on their own. And what unfortunately happens is, as an entrepreneur, you might be excellent in your t-shirt making, screen printing business, but you don't know what the commercial real estate side of it is. And so you don't understand what you're signing. People will go and see a space on Tuesday and sign a lease on Wednesday. And now they're locked into a 5-year lease on something they don't even know they're in. So you need to have representation. You know, that's just very important so that you can have someone who knows the commercial real estate industry and guide you on what you're signing and investing your business in for 3, 5, 7, 8, 10 years.
How important is location?
Everyone knows it. Location, 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 right? I don't know why it's 3 locations, though. Everyone says that.
That's your priority.
Oh, well, yeah, but, you know, how about location, 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 location? I don't know. 3 sounds better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue better.
Okay, fine. Location is super important because that's where the business thrives. You can change aspects about a building. You can't change location.
Yeah.
That's really the thing there. The location is either successful or it's not. You, as a personal business, can't do much to change that success of that location. If the space you're in it doesn't quite meet your needs, you can change the space to make it meet your needs.
We're gonna pause for a break, but then we're gonna come back, and I'd like to get into more of the behind the scenes, the operations that you and your team are doing that maybe a client doesn't see, and that foundational success path and what that looks like for them. So I'd like to discuss that when we get back. Let's take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsor, Prosperity North Advisors.
Commercial insurance can be complicated, and most business owners don't realize they're exposed until something goes wrong. At Prosperity North Advisors, we work with all types of businesses, startups, established companies, sole proprietors, and teams from 5 to 100 employees. No matter the size or stage of your business, we can handle it. We specialize in assisted living, pest control, and service-based businesses. We know exactly how to handle your risk. Fleet of vehicles, we can help. Work comp challenges, we got you. State or vendor compliance, same day turnaround on your documents, guaranteed. And in most cases, we're helping clients save 15 to 20% while actually improving their coverage. So if you're not 100% confident in your business insurance, it's probably worth a conversation. Prosperity North Advisors. Our mission is to protect your prosperity.
And we're back. Thank you very much, Prosperity North Advisors, for all your commercial insurance needs. Please reach out if you have any questions. We are back with Amy Gibson from Dreammakers Commercial Advisors on the property side. Amy, let's jump back in and let's talk about the behind the scenes of a commercial real estate advisor, and what does that look like on a day-to-day basis for you?
Yeah. So with Dreammaker Commercial Advisors, we work with clients slightly different than other commercial brokerages. We have a proprietary plan that I call the Dreamscape process, where it educates clients on either buying, selling, or leasing commercial real estate before we even sign any papers and they become a client. That process in itself has about a 98% close rate.
Wow.
And it is so vital to the success of my client in finding a property that they need. They feel educated, they feel taken care of, and they feel like the process is one smooth transaction as a bunch of broken up, fragmented, sections.
Yeah. What are some, let's talk about like red flags that you might see. Now you're full service, you're representing both buyers, sellers, tenants, and the leasing side.
Yeah.
What are some red flags in each one of those categories that someone should be looking for?
So on the buying side, red flags are really making sure you get all the inspections that you need for your property. Sometimes a buyer will just do a property inspection, and what they should also have is an air conditioning, HVAC company inspect those units, because we live in Arizona, man. We live in an oven for 4 months of the year. The air conditionings never turn off. And so they need to know what the life expectancy is left on a unit. And is it at 20 years? Is this unit going to, die here after they buy the building? Or, is the foundation, we live in Gilbert. We have settling in our buildings here. So is the foundation crack actually just the settling of the earth, or is there actually a foundation issue that needs to be taken care of? And those are kind of also could be typical in residential. But one thing in commercial we have is what's called an environmental phase 1. That is, especially if you are a buyer who is getting a loan, the lender will require it. And that needs to make sure that there has been no contamination in that ground since that property has been patented way back with, Teddy Roosevelt and the land patent.
Yeah.
And so it goes through the chain of title. If you are a cash buyer and you don't get it and there is contamination, future buyers can come back to you to help pay for the mitigation of that. It doesn't end with each buyer. It goes through the chain of title. So it's important to have a compliant environmental phase one.
So a situation like that makes me think about, like, I've seen where all of a sudden this has been a gas station for 30 years and now it's a drive-through soda place.
Yes.
And I just got to think to myself, boy, are those tanks still in the ground? Do they have gas still in them? What does that look like? And are those, there's a number of different things that could go into that.
That's absolutely correct. And as a buyer, you need to make sure, have those tanks been removed? And if they've been removed, have they been removed correctly? I had a client who runs a restaurant and an office building mix in Central Phoenix. And unfortunately, it was a gas station many, many years ago. You would never even know it to this day. It doesn't look like it. But the gas tanks were removed, but they weren't removed correctly. So there is contamination in the ground, and she was a cash buyer. So she will most likely have to pay to remediate that before she ends up selling the property down the road.
Is that like you got to take off the 18 inches of dirt and bring it in type of stuff?
Yes, you're spot on. Although 18 inches isn't very, very far. It's probably, much deeper than that and very, very expensive. So they dig up the ground where the contamination is. They take it to some undisclosed site, burn it, and then they repack the ground with the same amount of layers and soil. It's very, very expensive, very costly.
Wow. What are some red flags on the selling side?
So selling side, red flags are, you need to make sure that the buyer is financially sound to buy the property, and that they don't drag out the escrow because their financial feasibility is taking too long. So you need to set up some contingencies that make sure that you're set. So maybe the earnest money goes hard at a certain point, so that means that it's non-refundable and that you get that money if they don't have the financial wherewithal to buy the property. Commercial real estate falls out about 50% of the time because of the financial aspect of it. There really is technically not anything that's called a pre-qualification like in residential. So
you don't have your piece of paper that says, hey, you can buy this house or any other house. It's very not specific for that site.
Yeah, you do not. You open up escrow, and oftentimes there is a due diligence period and a financial feasibility period. They're two separate, and oftentimes it's much longer than residential. An average is 60-day escrow period.
My next question was how long does a commercial deal take?
Yeah, it could be anywhere from 60 days to 180 days. If it's land that's having buildings built on it, it could be up to 2 years. It could, much longer, but average 60 days.
It sounds like, though, you set those expectations directly up front.
I do. I put them all in the contract right away and set it up for the success of the seller if I'm representing the seller, or success of the buyer if I'm representing the buyer. The other thing is residential, it's the buyer's agent who drafts the contract initially. In commercial, it's the listing agent, it's the seller's representation that drafts the contracts, whether it's for sale or for lease.
Does that mean they hold all the power?
Well, sure, I would love to think that if I'm representing the seller, but no, it does sway a little bit more towards a seller or landlord. That is true.
Okay. Are there any? If someone's like, hey, I want to buy this building, or I want to get into this, they go through the Dream Maker process. What are they facing as far as financing goes?
Yeah. So I'll speak on the leasing side because that's more the agent passes the financial information on for there. For the sales side, I really leave that up to the lenders and what they request. I use some expert referral partners who educate my clients on that. So I don't let my brain get filled with too much of that information. However, on the leasing side, it's pretty common for a landlord to ask for the last 3 years P&L and balance sheets, tax returns, and then possibly maybe bank statements.
Yeah, it's I can tell you from experience, it is quite the process. And every time I have this wild idea of I'm going to buy this building, it seems like an SBA guy reels me back in, and then I look at my dream maker and I'm like, I'll be back.
I'll be back. Yes. So yeah, on the financial side for buying, an SBA, Small Business Administration loan, usually allows you to have less of a down payment, but there are some back end fees. For conventional loans, you're probably looking at 25 to 30% down. And then who knows what the interest rate, depending on the day we're talking. And when you broadcast this out into the world of social media, where I'm not going to speak to that, right? So
Right. Interest rates are they different on the residential side than they are on the commercial side?
commercial does tend to usually be a little bit higher. But at this time, talking with my referral partners, they seem to be very close in line with each other at the moment. So it just you never know from market to market and administration to administration what's going to happen.
I know this isn't an SBA conversation, and I want to stay in my lane here, but one of the things that scares me about the SBA process is the collateral, essentially. Like, oh, we can absolutely do this deal, but guess what? You're going to have to put your house up for this.
Well, shockingly enough, you do that in a commercial lease as well.
Really?
Yes. So commercial leases, the landlord will have you sign an addendum that's called a personal guarantee on a lease. And in that personal guarantee, it's going to say that if they have to come after you for money and you don't have it, they can come after your house.
Wow.
So commercials, big boy, big girl pants on.
It sure is. It sounds like it.
You got to make sure what you're getting yourself into.
Okay. Let's kind of shift into like more of your philosophies, those types of things. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in your career?
Well, I learn a lot of lessons, Casey. What is the biggest lesson I've learned in my career is to listen. Listen to your clients, listen to your referral partners and what they're saying about what's going on out there. Don't assume that I know what my client needs because I have worked with 30 different insurance clients. I know better not to assume that Prosperity North advisors may not need the same things as that State Farm rep I used helped represent down the line. So listen is the lesson.
Yeah. I tell my sons, you've got 2 ears, 1 mouth. So do twice as much listening as talking.
It's kind of like the carpenter's rule, right? Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
Listen twice, speak once.
Especially when you're dealing with something as important as someone's personal home situation and what could possibly happen over a 5-year period that could be completely out of their control.
It could be. So as a commercial broker, one of the things I want to make sure I do for my clients is really help them understand what are all of their options down the line and hope that they never have to use any of those options because their business is so successful that at the end of their lease, they're wanting to be in a bigger space or buy a building at that point. But knowledge is power, right? And if they understand and know what their options are, they have less anxiety about getting into a property.
So it's not transactional at all.
For me, Now you make me backpedal on what I said earlier.
Well, no, not really.
For me, it is, let's say it's optimistically, cautiously emotional.
Okay.
Am I going to cry because the paint color isn't the same? No, I'm not talking about that kind of emotions. But I personally invest in each of my clients to make sure that they are happy with the decision they're making. You know, it is a big decision. Buying a house, buying or leasing commercial real estate is huge decisions in their lives. And I want them to feel absolutely confident when they're signing their name on that piece of paper that they are ready to move forward and excited about it. If they are not, then we're going to go through it again until they are. Or if they truly are not, then we're going to stop and find another place that makes them happy.
How often are you running into someone may emotionally fall in love with a space, but I know that there's certain types of business. You and I worked on a tattoo shop together. I wrote the insurance, you found the space. But I know industries like that, they've got a lot of limitations. Can't be within a school. It's got to be in this types of zones. So there's a lot that goes into it.
That is true. And I tell my clients, be optimistically cautious or cautiously optimistic. There you go. That's better. Because you are not in a space until you sign the paper. And I do have clients. I think that particular tattoo client did fall in love with a location, and it didn't work out for them initially because they were in it was Tempe, and Tempe have certain regulations different than Chandler or Gilbert. Every city has their own zoning ordinances and business limitations. And unfortunately in Tempe, you can't be less than 500 feet from a residential area. And that retail was backed up to a residential development. And so we were actually at the signing table almost when we realized that they could not go there. And it was, of course, right around the holidays. So she was crushed. And so she had to take a break. I took a break, and then we got back together and found the perfect spot for them. And they say that their dreams did come true, and it was meant to be. It's always meant to be, by the way. Don't ever get discouraged because the right property will be found.
It's the universe has corrected me several times over my journey. And I feel like if I push and try to shove that square into the circle or vice versa, that it'll slap me.
I agree. I have had the same experience. So I know to let it be and let the circle find the peg.
Yeah, yeah. I know you don't have a crystal ball. None of us do.
Crystal ball, man. It's not even cracked. It's freaking shattered, Casey.
You're like, I brought it. It's in my Ziploc bag. What do you think's coming in the next 5 or 10 years? I mean, we've seen Arizona explode. California has emptied in. We've got snowbirds. We've seen the housing market, the building of new houses. I mean, there's even in the 15 years I've been in Arizona, I'm now one of those persons where I'm like, that used to be a hayfield. And
yes.
Now it's a pile of houses. What does the commercial space look like over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. So Phoenix is unique in it is a large city, right? It's in the top 10 of largest cities in the United States. But as of right now, we are still not the major corporate hub that New York, Chicago, LA, Dallas is, Miami, right? We are starting to become it more and more. We are getting more and more corporate businesses coming in, and they are getting built up, coming in the west side, coming in the east side with our small Mesa Gateway Airport, which isn't so small. We kind of have what's sort of coined as the Sky Bridge, allowing corporations to bring shipments in from anywhere. However, that being said, we are still a city that is predominantly made of small and medium-sized businesses. So, and of course, we have the weather, right? We have, for the most part, not really any natural disasters that hit us. Fires occasionally, but, well, and I don't know. You get a haboob every now and again, but
I still laugh at that word.
I do too. I think we all will. But we will never stop having people from California moving to Arizona. We're never going to have snowbirds stop coming because the weather is here. Will they continue to buy and not rent? I don't know. Right at the moment, I'm noticing a shift that there are, the Canadians are not buying as much as they were before. Will that change in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? I am probably the least political person that Casey, but everybody knows that things change with new administrations.
Sure.
And so who knows what's going to happen in 3 years. But at the moment, I think Phoenix is always going to be a stable city because we are not completely dependent on corporations, and that we are probably one of the most diverse in business sizes for a large city.
What's a common myth in the commercial property space?
That you can break your commercial lease.
Oh, you can't?
Not very easily. It's not like a residential lease. You can't just bug out in the night, and the landlord's kind of like, okay, I guess I'll figure out something else. We already touched base a little bit on the personal guarantee. So a landlord can come after you. There is usually commonly not a early termination clause. So if heaven forbid, your business starts to struggle and you need to get out, usually your only option is to try and find someone to sublease the space for the remaining term of your lease. So it's not, you can't just get out. And if you don't pay and the landlord locks you out, they can keep your stuff. So commercially, it's a landlord's domain, not a tenant's domain.
Tell us, give me your pitch. As we close out here, how can people find you? I'm going to have your website and all of your contact information on the screen, but give me your 30-second elevator pitch and some words to remember.
Great. Dreammaker Commercial Advisors. We are rooted in relationships driven by dreams. And you can find me pretty much at any networking event there is in the Phoenix Valley. I like to get out there and talk to people. But yes, my website, which is dreammakerca.com, and my Facebook business page, which is Commercial RE Dreammaker. Obviously, Facebook in front of that for you non-social media people. And then phone number 602-625-5647. Text, call, voicemail, whatever. I'm happy to talk with anyone who has any interest or want education in commercial real estate.
I will say this, Amy. We've known each other for a long time. I know how we met. We met from Sandy.
Yes.
From the Gilbert Chamber of Commerce. And yes. I was in a group with her, and she said, I have to introduce you to Amy Gibson. And I never thought that I was going to find the mirror image of myself in our meeting. But I absolutely love working with you. And I've seen you step into that co-broker or associate broker into your own world and grab a hold of that. And I want to congratulate you on that. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. You always take my calls. You're an amazing referral source with your network of people that Amy, I can't imagine how many times I've called you at 4:45 on a Thursday afternoon, and I'm like, Amy, I've got a crazy idea right now. And you always pick up and you always have an idea. And I really thank you for that, not only for your friendship, but your professionalism and everything that you've done. You're absolutely phenomenal. And I thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. And Sandy in her wisdom knew that we needed to be connected. And everything you said is definitely back at you in a mutual way. I know that my clients who need that commercial insurance is taken care of by you. And you also pick up the phone. That's sort of a rarity. So maybe take a lesson from Casey and I on picking up the phone at 4:45 on a Thursday.
Well, I'll tell you this, nothing in insurance happens till 4:45. It's like, hey, I forgot to tell you, 93,000 gallons of water came through my office 2 weeks ago, and I'm letting you know it at 4:50 on Friday, right before Memorial Day. So when can your crew be here? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let me just arrange that real quick.
Yep. If you want business to happen, make it a holiday or go on vacation.
I'll tell you this, Amy. I have 2 college degrees because my mom said show up.
Right.
And
for sure.
If somebody asked me, what's the secret to your showing up?
Show up. Picking
up the phone. And that's I think 70% of the battle. That'll get you a C.
I agree.
And everybody needs a C insurance agent.
Luckily for you, Casey, you're an A guy. So.
I appreciate that. I rarely make personal recommendations, but I can wholeheartedly stand on 2 feet and I will shout it from the mountains that if you were not working with Amy Gibson and Dreammaker Commercial Advisors for your real estate, you were doing yourself a disservice. And I will shout that from the mountains. Amy, I appreciate everything about you. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your professionalism and everything that you've supported me on. And I look forward to many, many years of this.
Me too, Casey. Thank you so much. It's just been an honor.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll stop gushing over each other here.
Getting a little teary-eyed now.
If you'd like to be featured on Casey's Corner, please reach out to me directly. Grab the book and like, subscribe, share, all that social media stuff. Thanks very much. Have a great day.